Y'all know I love Christina Lauren. They, wow. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my December TBR. And a guest. So, in the month of December, just like last year, the husband, who is now perusing the library, is going to be picking my TBR. However, he has to do it based on the prompts that we get from the basket. So, we literally just pulled them a few minutes ago, so he is now perusing the shelves to look for things that will fit them. But I do have a few things that I need to read that will not go into the prompts that he's picking from. So let's mention those first, and then we can get into the TBR that he will pick for me. The first book is actually going to be my Christmas read for the month, which is going to be In Hollandaise by Christina Lauren. Y'all know that I love this author duo. Their romance books are amazing, some of my favorites. And this is their Christmas book that came out a couple of months ago. Sounds like it is a Groundhog Day type of story where this main character relives the same day over and over, except for it's in a cabin in Utah. It's our main character's last winter in said cabin, and on the way leaving, she gets in a car accident right as she is kind of thinking, I wish I didn't have to leave this place, and then she has to relive the day over and over and over again. And I believe there are two love interests, because it says something up here about two brothers. But I love Christina Lauren. So this is my Christmas read, and I am so excited. The next book that I'm hoping to read that will not fit in the said prompts is actually going to be my buddy read and the last book in the series Unfortunate Events, which is literally called The End. This is the 13th book in the series, which I have been buddy reading all year with Serena from Wandering Mind, and I'm so excited to get to the end, but I'm also really sad because then I don't have any more books to read, like buddy read with her, and it's been so much fun. But this is the very last book in the series. Literally can't tell you anything about what's happening, and honestly I don't remember a lot about what's going on within this book, so it's going to be kind of like a first time for me as well. So I'm excited to kind of finish off the year with the last book in a series. It feels very appropriate, and then we will finish off the TV Netflix adaptation as well, which is going to be awesome. And then we have to pick from the TBR jars for the last time because it's December, so we're at the end. So let's do, I guess we'll do nonfiction first. So let's see what we got. So let's see, we've got 1, 2. Give me something small this month, please. Okay, so we have this book is Anti-Racist, and then we also have When God Winks at You. So the two books we picked up were How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and then also When God Winks at You by Squire Rushnell. These are two books that I am very excited to get into, but I think just for myself, I'm going to end up going with When God Winks at You, only because this one I think I started reading a few months ago, and it just seems like a very complex read that's going to take me quite a while to get through, and I need to do it kind of like at a slow pace, where like I don't rush myself, and so I would be rushing myself if I try to read this in a month. So I'm going to try this book next year instead, and we'll go with When God Winks at You, which is all about like how God speaks directly to you through the power of coincidence. So I've had this book for a while. So that's my nonfiction pick. And then for my last fiction pick in this beer tumbler thing that I have and never use, let's see. That's one, and I think I got two. So the first one I picked up was American Royals. Oh, that's going to be a good one. And then the second one is, oh, Love Interest. I forgot I put that in there. So my first book that I picked up was American Royals by Catherine McGee. This is like, it's been out for a while, and I think the sequel is for sure out by now. But this is like if George Washington didn't become president of the U.S., he became king, and it's his ancestors. And it's like a romance drama series, which sounds amazing. And then I also picked up The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich, which is like a spy love story. I think there's some LGBTQ rep in it as well. So this was a very easy pick because I'm going to be going with American Royals because I'm feeling a romance right now. So that's what I'm going with. And this one I can't read right now for reasons that you will see in a few weeks for videos based on next year. So, those are my 4 books. But before we get into the picks that Chris has, because he's literally sitting right here waiting on me to finish, let's go over what I read last month. So, I was able to finish all 5 books that were on my TBR for last month. So, these are the 4 physical copies I have. There is one that's also a audiobook that I don't have a physical copy for, but those were The House with the Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson, which was a book out of my comfort zone. We have the 4th in the Missing series, Torn by Margaret Patterson Haddix, which was for an author with a random letter, and I got the letter P. Then we had A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, which was a book that's part of a series. And then we have the very last book in the School for Good and Evil series, One True King by Soman Chinani, which was for squad goals. And then also the Mischief School of Music Craft by Jessica Corey, which was to read a book or listen to an audiobook. So I was able to read all 5, so no punishment picks for the month. Chris only gets 5 picks. So let's see what the first one is. Pick number 1. This one, and it will be, if I can get it open, here we go, read a book with royalty included. Wasn't that a pretty face?
Always.
Alright, so the very first book that he had to pick was to read a book with royalty included in some way. He's very excited. I know only one of the books that's going to be on this, because we talked about it, and also I have a feeling. Yes!
I have selected the Samuel Clemens novel, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
By Mark Twain.
It's a Samuel Clemens novel.
Yeah, but no one's going to know
Everybody knows that.
No,
You're the only person that doesn't know that Mark Twain is Samuel Clemens.
Whatever.
We have 3 copies of this book.
We do. There's a tiny version, isn't there?
Oh, we have 4 copies of this book. I forgot about the tiny one.
Okay. Depends. I'm not sure what copy I'm going to read.
This one has a tassel.
Oh, well, probably that one. Tell them what it's about.
So there's a dude at a party, and he goes into another room, and he meets this other guy. And this guy is said Connecticut Yankee.
Okay.
And said Connecticut Yankee tells the story of how he traveled back in time and went to King Arthur's court. And everybody thought he was a wizard because he happened to know the historical dates of all of the solar eclipses, which, by the way, is really weird. But he's like, he happened to know that the day that he appeared and was about to be burned at the stake because they were like, you're a ridiculous human being. He was like, oh, well, I'm going to take the sun away. And then the eclipse happens. And everybody's like, ah, and he's like, do you promise not to burn me? I'll give you the sun back. They're like, okay, we won't burn you. And then the eclipse ends. And so they all think he's a wizard. And so Merlin is like his arch nemesis. And he brings lots of like 19th, 20th century stuff to King Arthur's court, like bicycles and stuff. And it's
trippy.
Yeah, it's an interesting time travel fantasy thing. Okay, sorry, I rambled. You're welcome. Have fun editing this.
This is actually one of my classic haul that I did not that long ago. Not haul. Tag. I talked about how I wanted to read this because I looked at the back of it while I was doing the tag and it looked really interesting. And also I really like Arthurian books. It's got really cool art in it. I don't know if you can see that. Probably.
Yeah, the
not.
Reader's Digest version has some pretty cool stuff in it.
So, okay. That's exciting. I'm actually really happy with that one. Number 2. This one, which will be Ooh, pick a cozy read. The next book was to pick a cozy read. Whatever that means to you. I'm a little scared because I don't know what a cozy read to you. Oh my god, of course it is!
So I picked the first in the Mr. Monk series. This is a fabulous television program.
It's a good show, yeah.
It's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And the books are written from his assistant's point of view.
The second one.
The second assistant, Natalie. Let's
Yeah.
not do that again. So, Mr. Monk and the Firehouse. Mr. Monk gets hired by Natalie's daughter, Julie, to find out what happened to the Firehouse dog. Their Dalmatian died. So the daughter, the 12-year-old think she's 12
Okay.
in this book, hires Monk to investigate. And he's like, really? Do I have to do it? And because his assistant is the mother of the client, he does.
Yeah.
I'm
actually really excited.
This is a really... I call this a cozy read because it's really easy to just curl up on a rainy day and just plow through the whole book. Because it's not that long. It's a really easy read. It's funny.
I'm actually excited about that one.
I think this had been on my Kelsey needs to read this list all year. So now I get to make her read it.
Pick number 3. This one. Ow, I just hit the side. Okay. Oof. Maybe. Here we go. Read a book with a one-word title, not counting the. So the next book was to pick a book. Wow. No. Try that again. Stop it. I don't like it when you do serious face.
I'm trying to not be laughing at your previous blooper when you start this so that they don't know that I'm laughing at your previous blooper.
They'll just think you're a giggly human like me.
I don't need to know the truth.
So the next prompt was to read a book that has a one-word title, which does not include the.
For this one, I selected a John Grisham book because nobody thought I was going to do this without selecting a John Grisham book.
Shocked.
This one is called The Racketeer. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it seems like one that I thought you would enjoy.
Okay.
So it's about there's a guy who's in jail who happens to know who killed a federal judge that's been murdered. And he's like, hey, I know who did this. If you can get me out, I'll tell you. And so he's like bargaining his way out. And like they don't really want to let him go. He used to be a lawyer, so he actually like knows stuff. It's really interesting. I liked this one. And I think Kelsey will like this one too. I picked this one because I thought she would like it.
Sounds good. Number 4. This one, which is cover has a random color. Here we go. I have my husband's phone. We'll do a random color generator. And we got this kind of blue teal. So the next prompt was to read a book with a cover that matches a random color generator, which you would have already seen, and it's this kind of tealy blue color. So yeah, that's what he had to go off of.
So I picked the next in the Missing series because A, I know she'll really get through this one, and B, I think she'll really enjoy this one. I keep holding these in front of my mouth. The last book ended with kind of some ridiculousness going on.
A little bit.
And so this one kind of continues from it. I really enjoyed this one.
This was your favorite.
This was my favorite one in the series. I have one left in the series. And
yes. I read number 4 for Believe-a-thon, so I'm excited to get, because I feel like 3 and 4 were connected for some reason, and now we're getting back to the more traditional, in a sense, based on 2. I realize I'm being very vague, but that's kind of because of the cliffhanger at the end of the first one, which I try not to talk about. But yeah, I'm excited to see why you like this one so much.
Yeah, that one was very good.
This is the one I knew was coming. So like when I saw that was the color for the cover, I was like, oh, I know exactly what book he's going to choose. Okay, cool. And number 5, this one, which is read a book with a POC author. And the very last book was to read a book that is by a POC author. It was a very
I think you know what this one is too.
You do?
I think so.
Can't get it out.
I can't get it out.
Oh!
So, despite the fact she'd already picked her nonfiction book, I picked another nonfiction book. This is cool. Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. It's kind of autobiographical, kind of anecdotal. He kind of tells some stories of his childhood growing up in South Africa.
It's more of a memoir than probably a biography.
Yeah, and it's called Born a Crime because he is mixed, and at the time in South Africa it wasn't legal for white people and black people to have children. So his mother would always like try to prevent him from being seen near. I think it was near black children because it was obvious that he was not as black as them, and so they would think that he was a mixed child, which he was, and they'd get in trouble for just existing. But there's some really funny stories in here.
Cool.
It was very amusing. I enjoyed this one.
I probably should have seen that one coming because you've been wanting me to read this for a while. But yeah, if I can find, I would love to find a autobiography because that's not what I meant to say.
Audiobook?
I would love to find an audiobook because I really like listening to memoirs by the person as I'm reading along.
I think he has done the audiobook
you're right.
for that one.
That's just my favorite way to do it because it's like they're telling me their story and it just makes it like, it makes the connection better. Cool. Exciting.
Yeah.
So those are the 5, I can count, 5 books that Chris picked for me, plus the 4 that I need to read anyway. It's not that heavy. Stop it.
This is not that heavy, but this is actually a substantial amount of tree.
It is. So here's my TBR for December. 9 books, right? Because 5 plus 4
plus 4 is indeed 9.
I could do math. Woo! Anyway, so that's my TBR for the month of November. Thanks for picking some books. Did you have fun using the basket of reads?
I was able to bend just about all of the books that I had picked out for you to fit in.
Well, thanks for coming back. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to hold this. Thank you for coming back on.
Hey, it was a long trip.
That's true. You make that joke every time.
Is it ever not funny?
Anyway, I don't know how to end this video now. You took my steam away.
Anyway, thanks for coming on. Oh, you're welcome. The host's real cute. I think I'll come back again another time.
So, that's it. Those are the books that he picked for me. Well, this was the last time that I'm doing my current rules because I'm creating new rules for next year. Ooh. So stay tuned for new fun things to come next year. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed him picking the TBR this time. He came back for another month to pick more books for me. But I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe it down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there as well if you want to follow along on any of those. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! I don't like how on point you were with that. I'm a little concerned.